A Pueblo-based cannabis company is facing a hefty fine after a state investigation. The Colorado Attorney General's office announced that Bee's Knees CBDs will pay a $225,000 fine as part of a settlement.
Ouch.
The company was found to have made several false claims on its website, including misrepresenting its products as organic and produced in Colorado. The investigation revealed that these claims were not true, according to the AG's office. The company also failed to implement an age verification system on its website, despite selling hemp products with levels of Delta-9 THC similar to those found in regulated dispensaries. Additionally, Bee's Knees falsely claimed partnerships with several conservation nonprofits. Attorney General Phil Weiser emphasized Colorado's commitment to consumer safety and the oversight of cannabis sales, stating, quote, this case highlights the importance of transparency in the cannabis industry. As part of the settlement, Bee's Knees must comply with state laws, obtain all necessary licenses, and implement age verification on its site. If the company fails to meet these requirements, fines could increase to $495,000. So I definitely am going to be following this one. You guys want to go ahead and make those changes and pay that fine, but it sounds like Bee's Knees is a pretty shitty company. Like, you know, yeah, okay, they screwed up, they screwed up their labeling, that's fine. Lying about saying it's organic and lying about saying that it's made in Colorado are pretty shitty things to do. But the thing that got me is falsely claiming you have partnerships with conservation nonprofits. So saying, hey, buy us, we're giving money to the greater good, and taking the money is a pretty shitty thing to do. So I hope they've taken at least $225,000 of it, because they're going to need that to pay back to the state. I'll throw it back to you guys, but it sounds like these guys are not the Bee's Knees.
Oh, they're not the Bee's Knees. Man, Jenny Beth. Man, $225,000, man. That's a pretty hefty fine.
Yeah, and especially if it increases up to that $495,000.
What?
When you see a fine that big, they're trying to put this company out of business. They're like,
they
you guys
are.
are assholes. We can't really make you stop, but we could try.
Man, I wish I could collect the fine. That would be awesome.
This is traditional unfair business practices, though. It goes on around the country. And if you produce consumable products, whether it's high fructose corn syrup or CBD or whatever, there are rules to what you can advertise. And if people that don't pay attention to that, going to get the state in, and the FDA will come in. If you're making claims about products that are provably false, okay, you got some problems. And any business that produces a consumable product that claims it does, you know, certain things, you've got to be prepared to prove that, or it's false advertising. And the industry has been slow to recognize that you're a business. You've got to comply with all the business rules in every state and federally too. And they just take this lightly until someone puts a boot up their ass. And this is a boot up their ass right now. You need to see a proctologist to have it removed, or a bigger one's going up there, and they're going to be put out of business. So learn the lesson. Don't lie. Be honest. Tell people what you know, and don't put so much lipstick on the pig where what you're saying is really just a bold-faced lie.
Right? I'm with you, bro.
Pissing up a rope.
Pissing up a rope, literally. Literally. I mean, do you think they ultimately, because we've seen other companies fight unjust fines, you know what I'm saying, from different governments. Do you think they have a case with that on this, Dale?
What's unjust about this, Jason?
It's excessive.
Well, they were operating like they were in the trap market.
Well, but that's the question. Okay.
I mean,
the Eighth Amendment has been brought to bear against the system. Okay. And I think it needs to be put up there for some scrutiny. Now, is it an excessive fine? It could be. Depends on what they did, what their warnings were. Okay. And the proportion of the fine in comparison to what they actually did. I mean, if we go back, there was a case called Tibbs, you know, several years ago, where they took some guy's BMW for, you know, a small amount of coke in his car. And the court said, no, that's an excessive fine. You can't take a $40,000 car for, you know, $20 worth of coke. That's excessive. That was not a lot of guidance on what to do with these industries that are going into where traditional vice markets. What are we going to do about that? where's the line for excessive? I don't know, but I'll be watching. I got my popcorn popped up. I'm watching.
You know what, Dale? I think anyone can point to excessive fines of anything over $10,000 because ultimately they didn't have someone die in their facility, and Trulieve only got fined $10,000 by OSHA for someone dying in their facility. So I think that's a fair argument that any lawyer could make in court because there's already a case law for that.
Yeah, but that case law may not be precedent in the court you're in. That's the problem. Is that if it happens in a state where your court doesn't follow those states' decisions, then that decision, my argument, is irrelevant. Okay, and the court's likely going to say no, it doesn't get to come into evidence. And that's part of the problem we face. Although all of us like to look around and say that's just not fair, when you get into a courtroom, it's a very artificial environment. You don't get to bring in all the things happening around the country. It's only what's in that state and perhaps in that local jurisdiction. It's very frustrating, but it's the way the law works. And that's why at most things are the Lawyers Full Employment Act. Is you got to bring lawyers in from both sides to have a pissing match over things. The average citizen goes, it's easy to fix. Well, if you bring lawyers into it, now we get it complicated because that's how we make money.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest about it.
I mean, I think they're pretty dead to rights on a couple things, but I think that when it comes to falsely stating that they're dealing with nonprofits and they might want to just go ahead and pay this fine before they get in trouble for things like, nonprofit fraud and shit like that, because that's a little bit, I don't know. They might want to just shut the fuck up, pay the fine, and go find something else to do with their time.
Fair enough.
That would be my advice to them. It's cheap money to pay me to shut the fuck up and write a check and go on. Change your business model. I mean, I've been in marketing meetings where I am the turd in the punch bowl. I tell them, look, you do that, you're going to get your ass in trouble. Stop it. Don't say that. Don't do it. And after that, I put it in writing. I'm telling you, don't do this. After that, it's your problem.
And in cases like this, when you're looking at fines too, I mean, like how long were they allowed to operate and lie to the public? How much money did they make over that time? Were they making millions of dollars? I mean, if they did,
I think that's fair. That's a fair question, Stone. How much money did they do in revenue during that time period? I think that's a fair question.
Well, if you're going to raise excessive fines, that's going to be some of the metrics you have to prove or disprove in the court. If you make, $1 billion a year and you get fined $200,000, it's like excessive fines. Get the fuck out of here. No, that's not excessive compared to what you're making. But if you're making $500,000 a year and they fine you $200,000, whoa, that's a whole different paradigm.
Yeah, I remember back in cannabis early days, super early days, before even licensing and whatnot. Ken Estes, the father of Granddaddy Perp and whatnot, he had a store in Oakland, and the city of Oakland was trying to close him down, and so they started fining him $500 a day or $5,000 a day, and it's like, who gives a shit about that when he's pulling in $50, $60, $100,000 a day in sales? You know what I mean? Just pay the fine and keep it moving. And Oakland had a hard time closing him down at that place. And you have any thoughts on this, Jesse? Jesse, you with us?
Muted.
Oh, are you on mute, Jesse?
Yeah, I am. I don't know the system yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
I would just echo what Dale said. For any business, as a branding and marketing person, always listen to the lawyers when it comes to your marketing language and what you're doing. And yeah, it does feel like sometimes you're the turd in the punch bowl, huh, Dale? But we need to listen to people like you, because it can literally, obviously, save you hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Fair.
Don't listen to me and then pay my bill. I don't give a shit.
It's just going to rack up more bills if they don't listen to you, Dale. And speaking of that, we got a big old super chat from the Cole Memo. Thank you, Cole Memo. He says, Matt Gaetz is a huge fan of minor cannabinoids. That is pretty funny, Mr. Cole Memo. That is cute. But I will also throw out there in regards with Matt is that, for all you Swifties out there, you know what I mean? You should all be big fans of Matt Gaetz, because he's the one that got into the whole argument when Taylor Swift was getting punked by, I think it was Scooter Braun and her record label and whatnot, of her not being able to perform her songs and whatnot. And so Matt took it upon himself to enter her songs into the congressional record, to which that way they would all be public songs and would be the public's entity as far as the IP on that songs, which allowed her to be able to perform her. So you know what I mean, he is a champion on all of those levels. So let the haters keep on hating. And on that, we're going to go to a commercial and we're going to be right back.